welcome to Indie Business Radio for Monday, January 4th, 2010. I'm your host, Donna Maria, and you have arrived at the one place where we empower you to enjoy your life, build your business, and have your way. Well, it is the new year. Happy New Year, everyone. I am so excited to be here with you today. Believe it or not, I am starting my 5th year of Indie Business Radio shows, and I want to kick off the show by thanking the person who has made it possible. Kevin, my show engineer. Kevin, are you there?
Donna Maria, this is Kevin in the studio, and it's a pleasure to be working with you.
Okay, now you guys, it took me some prompting to get Kevin to actually show his face, so to speak, on this show. Kevin likes to be behind the scenes. He likes to push buttons and tell me that I'm talking too loudly or not loud enough and count down and tell me what to do. But I told Kevin he had to come out today so I could thank him for doing such a fantastic job of editing this show and making sure that all the audio sounds great and is uploaded to the website so that I can share it with you. Kevin, you've been fantastic, and I just want you to know how much I appreciate you.
Well, Donna Maria, actually, let me turn it back to you. You're really one of the best. As you said, it's been about 5 years we've been working together. Your show's always one of the top-rated ones, and it's just a real pleasure to work with you each week.
Well, thank you so much, Kevin. And anybody out there, if you're thinking of hosting your own radio show, I strongly encourage you to check out globaltalkradio.com. Kevin Dawson, the show engineer, is fantastic. He'll help you get started. And, I knew nothing about hosting a radio show 5 years ago except that I wanted to be a radio show host. And it's in large part because of him that I'm actually still doing this show. So, Kevin, thank you very much. You can turn your mic off now and go push your button.
Will do. And Donna Maria, we'll have to do something special to celebrate your 5th year.
Yes, let's celebrate.
Have a great show.
Thanks, Kevin. Thank you so much. Well, you guys, I am just delighted to be here today. It's the start of a new year. The energy is flowing in a different way than it does for the rest of the year, and I've got a fantastic guest to help us kick off the new year today. His name is Marlon Smith. He is a husband, father, and motivational speaker. He's also the author of Living with Purpose, 40 Days to Empowering You and Your Family. Marlon is also the owner and founder of Success by Choice Incorporated, a leadership development business that focuses on training young people, small business owners, families, and collaborative teams to maximize their power as leaders. He's the author of several other books, but if I name them all, we won't have a chance to talk to him, and I really want to get him going on this show. Marlon's going to talk with us about motivating ourselves for the new year and kicking things off in grand style. Welcome to Indie Business Radio, Marlon.
Oh, thank you, Donna.
Marlon, now you have an interesting story, and a lot of my listeners I know can relate to it. Many years ago, you actually left a full-time job to start your own business. Tell us a little bit about that.
Thanks, Donna. Well, basically I went to University of Virginia. I studied electrical engineering in school, and I just really have always had a passion for technology. And so I worked at IBM and then worked at Hewlett-Packard as a systems engineer. And it was a great job. I mean, I really was very blessed to have my position. However, there was something missing. And January 15th, 1992, I had been journaling for a number of years, and I was always asking myself, okay, what would I do for free? What do I love doing? And I tell you, even though I had a great job and it was wonderful living in Silicon Valley, I said, I think there's more for me to do. And then on January 15th, 1992, I stepped out on faith, and I resigned from HP. Gave up the company car, the company credit card. My family, my friends thought I had lost my mind.
Yeah.
But, Donna, I tell you, one of the things that really I had always known is I said, I'd rather go for my dreams. I'd rather do what I believe I'm gifted to do rather than live my life and look back and have regrets. And so that really gave me the motivation to step out on faith and start my own company.
Well, it's a new year, and there are a lot of people who are listening to this show, and actually who will listen to this show even after the new year, who are thinking along the same lines that you are. That is, putting your talents and gifts to work in something that you could really, really love. So I'm going to step out on faith a little bit here and throw out something. We always talk about new year, new you, right? It's going to be a new year, a new you. So I'm thinking, but what if it's a new year and a new mess for some people? What if the last year ended with on a downturn, maybe the economy, maybe they just didn't accomplish as many of the goals as they wanted to, blah, 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 unhappy new year for some people. So for those people, Marlon, to start, I want you to talk to them. What do you say to people who are like, I just can't get motivated for this new year because last year was not what I wanted it to be.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Regardless of if it's a new year or it's your birthday or some other special, calendar or holiday, I'm here to say that today is a new day.
Okay.
Regardless of it being, the first of the year or your birthday, today is a new day. And I want our listeners to understand that that's where the power is. What you do in the now. You see, really, honestly speaking, the past is gone. We can't change the past. And to be honest with you, the future, it's always out there. It's a mystery. So the past is history. The future is a mystery. All we have is this moment right here and now. And that's why they call it present, because it's a gift. So my question is, what are you going to do differently today than you did yesterday? Because you see, what we have to understand is we can't change the past. But right now, all we have is today. And so, Donna, I think that's really the key. You hear about the New Year's resolutions. Right now, the gyms, the exercise craze is packed.
Right.
And then come February, March, April, people just, they let go of that drive.
Right.
So how do you continue? That's really what I think the real question is. How do you continue doing what you need to do on a daily basis?
Well, let's talk about that, because we do so often, Marlon, we see January 1st or the first week of January as this sort of new event. It's like, Happy New Year, it's a great day, we get to start afresh, and then we kind of forget about what comes after that. And it's kind of, I guess, quite natural, because you get all wrapped up in the hype and the excitement. But how do we do that, Marlon? What is the key, or what are the keys to being able to appreciate the new year and then actually implement the processes or the mindset maybe that you need to actually carry that enthusiasm into producing results?
Exactly. Well, I think number one, you have to get clear. You have to have certain clarity, specific clarity on what exactly do you want. See, I'm here to say, Donna, I believe most people wake up in the morning and they get caught up in a routine. They wake up, eat breakfast, put on their clothes, go to work, or go to their office, and come home, eat dinner, turn on the TV, go to bed, and it just becomes a cycle.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, in order to break out of that quote-unquote treadmill, we have to start asking ourselves better questions. So what exactly do you want? So my first question to all the listeners is, question number one, what exactly do you want for your life?
Okay.
You see, start with that, and then we have to then say, okay, whatever that is, put it on paper. I believe there's power when we put our thoughts on paper, because when we have it up in our mind, it can be confusing. It can, all these thoughts are just fleeting through our mind. They're bombarding our mind with thoughts. But when you put it on paper, what my experience has been is that it gives me a little bit more focus. Okay? So number one is, what exactly do I want for my life? Number two is, what do I need to do in order to achieve my ideal vision for my life? Okay? And then number three is, how can I hold myself accountable? Because here's the thing. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result.
Yeah.
So the accountability is very important, and we'll talk more about that, because, I'm part of a couples mastermind, and I've got other accountability partners where I can share, hey, here's what I'm working on, and they hold me accountable. Because it's very easy to put things off. It's very easy to procrastinate. But what I'm here to say is, we got to hold ourselves to a higher standard.
Well, and let me back up for a second to the beginning of what you said, too, because you said, when I said, we're talking about, finding the answers, we're always talking about what's the answer to having success in my life? What's the answer to moving forward and accomplishing my goals? And you're saying we're asking the question, what's the answer, before we actually know what the questions are in advance of that.
Yeah, basically what I'm really saying, is, we got to get some clarity on what exactly do you want. When I was an engineer, I know a lot about energy, and so if I take a light bulb that's radiating light in 360 degrees, and I focus that same light bulb into a single beam, it becomes a laser, as powerful as a laser that could penetrate a wall. So the power of asking that first question is for you to get some clarity as, what exactly do you want? You see, and be very clear and be very specific, because once you can tunnel your energies, you can tunnel your time, your resources into that vision, you have more power.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because one of the keys you said was to make sure you have some accountability in your life. This is an issue for a lot of people, and I'm going to try to frame this for you, because I want you to answer it in a specific context. We're small business owners.
Yes.
And we have colleagues who may be competitors or who may not be competitors, other small business owners that can be potential accountability partners, right? Then we have people we can hire, like coaches and things of that nature. They can be accountability partners. And then we can have maybe a friend or a spouse or some combination of people who are already in our lives personally that can be accountability partners. So help us determine, once we answer the questions, what do we want and what do we need to do? Because I think most people can kind of do that. You can, for each goal, you can go, okay, here's the goal, here's what I need to do to accomplish it. That accountability part being as key as you said it is, can the success rise and fall on the accountability part? So how do we find accountability people or people to hold us accountable and then make sure that they hold themselves accountable to hold us accountable?
Okay, right. Well, every situation is going to be unique, and I believe that success leaves footprints. Okay, I read one book every 2 weeks. All right, and I'm reading a lot of books on, what separates those who produce phenomenal results and those that don't produce measurable results in their life. And what I've come to realize is this: high achievers are doing certain things that the majority of people are not doing. It's not even about, talents and gifts and strengths and whatnot. It's about holding yourself to a higher standard. And so when it comes back to that accountability, I think we have to set ourselves up to be successful. In my office, I've got a daily chart where I actually, on a daily basis, there's certain things I know I need to do to operate at my full optimum level. Okay? So what I'm here to say is, if you don't see your goal, if you don't see the chart, of what you need to do on a daily basis, it's very easy to get caught up in the busyness of life. So having said that, accountability partners are really there to support you, but at the end of the day, it comes down to you doing what you need to do. Now, in order to do that, again, we have a resource, and I know Donna will make that available, later on during this radio conversation. But, we've developed some resources. So you don't have to reproduce the wheel, because success leaves footprints. So in regards to, the accountability, Donna, I think, for example, I've got different accountability partners for different areas of my life. Now, as a business owner, I have a mastermind, okay, where it's other business colleagues in my industry, okay? So you could say, yeah, they're competitors, but you see, I don't look at it as being competitors. I look at the glass as 100% full. You've heard, is it half full or is it half empty? I look at it as 100% full, because half of it's with water, the other half is with air. So it's all about your perspective. So having said that, for my business, okay, I have some other, there are other consulting firms that we have developed a friendship, and we say, hey, how can we support each other? Let's look at the pie as coming from an abundance mentality versus a scarcity mentality, where I can't, I don't want to see you succeed because that takes away from me. No, there's enough for all of us. So for our listeners, there may be some individuals that, are in your industry, or maybe they're, subcontractors, just people that you respect, that are doing well, that want your best. That I would encourage you to say, hey, how can we support each other? How can I give to you? How can you give to me? So that we all grow. So that would be one thing. And then you mentioned about, a life coach or, a family member. Yeah, I mean, they are available to you. But I guess the thing is, it's really going to come down to you saying, hey, I'm coming to you because I respect you, whoever you choose to have as your accountability partner. And let's put in some guidelines, whether or not we're going to talk on a weekly basis, whether or not we're going to email one another our updates, and we talk every 2 weeks, whether or not we have lunch, whether or not we do it over the phone, whatever works best for you and your accountability partners. But I think the key is coming to them from a standpoint and saying, here's my desired outcome. And for me to get from today to my desired outcome, I'm trying to put some measures in place so that I can be held accountable. And I respect you that much, this person A, that I would like you to be one of my accountability partners. And, you set the guidelines up front. So to me, that is very key, because as you mentioned, Donna, people get excited beginning of the year, but that energy dissipates over time.
Yeah, it does.
So, but you know what we're really talking about, Donna?
What?
We're talking about creating habits.
Okay, habits.
Okay. Hear what I'm saying. We're talking about really creating habits. That's why, in the book that you mentioned, Living with Purpose, 40 Days to Empowering You and Your Family.
Right, and this is your book.
This is my book, right? And this is a 40 small daily assignments, okay, that will help you and your family truly produce greater results in your life. I mean, I get letters, emails all over the world about this. And you know what it is? The reason we designed this book as we did is because we know everyone's, doesn't have a lot of time.
Right.
We know that. So we said, hey, if they could just read a page a day and have a certain action item each day, it will allow them to start creating positive, winning leadership habits. Because as, different research studies say, some say it takes 28 days of consistently doing something on a daily basis to create a habit. Some say it's up to 32.
Right.
So we said, hey, we're not going to take any chance. We're going to make it 40 days to get everybody. But that is really what we're talking about, Donna, because once you create a habit, think about it, listeners, for those of us that, drive, it's a habit. You're not even consciously aware of what you're doing, because it's part of you. And so the same thing with what we're talking about for where you need to go, it's about creating the winning habits now.
Great. We're talking to Marlon Smith, author of Living with Purpose and founder and CEO of Success by Choice. We're going to take a quick break now. While we're doing that, check out successbychoice.com. You can sign up for Marlon's newsletter and take a look at a lot of the learning resources that he has there. And when we come back, we're going to actually walk through one of those learning resources right here so we can share with you how you can start putting together your own success plan for 2010. This is Indie Business Radio. I'm your host, Donna Maria. We'll be right back.
Why is everyone listening to GlobalTalkRadio.com? Because it's the future of talk radio. Every day, more and more people are finding Internet radio as not just an alternative media, but as a replacement to traditional AM and FM broadcast stations. Internet radio offers a wider variety of programs, convenient on-demand listening that meets your schedule, and fewer commercial interruptions. And GlobalTalkRadio.com is already leading the way by matching this content with a highly targeted Internet audience. GlobalTalkRadio.com offers its listeners one of the widest programming varieties on the Internet, from business and finance to self-improvement, paranormal, health, literature, romance, politics, and more. There are also opportunities for prospective hosts who would like to host their own weekly or one-time talk shows. Want to learn more? Check us out at www.globaltalkradio.com and see the future of talk radio today.
Welcome back to Indie Business Radio. We're here this afternoon talking with Marlon Smith, owner and CEO of Success by Choice, and the author of Living with Purpose. And so, Marlon, in our last segment, you said something really interesting. I want to follow up on that. You said that in your reading and research, you have noticed that high achievers are doing specific things that other people are not doing. I know we can't name them all, but what 2 or 3 stick out to you as the most significant?
Well, number one, I would say, Donna, in my findings, high achievers, they are committed to knowledge. They're committed to learning. And most of them, that's why I read so many books myself, is because I found the commonality is that readers are leaders and leaders are readers. That's number one. We need to, I know there's a lot going on, and sometimes, to be honest with you, you watch the 6 o'clock news, you watch the media, and you get depressed. But one of the things I found is that high achievers, they constantly are filling themselves with positive information. They're reading autobiographies. They're reading biographies of other leaders that they appreciate and they admire. They're reading, professional development books and personal development books. So that's number one, okay? Readers are leaders and leaders are readers. You must read. You must empower yourself. Number two is I find that the commonality is that a lot of the high achievers that I strive to emulate, they honor their word.
Okay. Integrity.
The integrity. They mean what they say, and they say what they mean. Mm-hmm. Whereas, sometimes we just, people have a tendency to, just make commitments without really honoring their commitment.
Right.
Okay? So, life does happen. So if you make a commitment and something comes up, then you renegotiate your commitment.
Right.
So what I'm saying is they have a higher standard of what they're actually speaking. And that, going back to integrity, you see, when you know that your word means something, you're going to hold yourself to a higher standard. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would say is number 2. Mm-hmm. Number 3, for some of the exceptional leaders, is that they understand the importance of balance.
Balance, okay.
Balance, okay? Spirit, mind, body, okay? And so that means, we have to make sure that we're feeding ourselves. And even in Living with Purpose, 40 Days to Empowering You and Your Family, I have something called the Wheel of Life, where I've divided your life into 6 different categories. And basically you get to understand, from your own self-assessment, determine where you are in these 6 different categories. Mm-hmm. Physical, spiritual, relationships, emotional, your business, your finance. And from that, it's a snapshot. Because I'm here to tell you, if you could be doing great as a small business owner and the revenues and your company's exploding, but if your health is being sacrificed, it's going to come back to get you.
Right.
So that's why balance is so important. So those are 3 things.
Right. Good. Thank you for that. Okay, so we're going to get from you some of your favorite books that you would suggest people to read. We're going to do that at the end of the show.
All right.
But right now, Marlon, your book is really interesting, and I haven't gone through all the 40 days yet, but I need to, so I'm gonna. It's going to be one of my goals for this year.
Y'all heard her now. Y'all are her accountability partners.
Right. I have hundreds and thousands of them, and my husband and I are going to do this together, actually, so we'll hold each other accountable. But Marlon, one of the things I noticed about your book was there's kind of like a commonality in terms of the theme. It starts with fear, then it goes to goals, and then to process. Tell us a little bit about the big picture about, that flow of things.
Yeah, thank you. Well, again, going back to question number 1, what exactly do I really want for my life? And I'm asking you because all of us, to some degree, we've been told by maybe in our upbringing, from our parents or our siblings or our friends, maybe we're not good enough. And what I'm saying is, C plus B equals A. Conceive in your mind, believe in your heart equals you will achieve. And, that sounds all nice. It's a nice little acronym, C plus B equals A.
Right.
But what I'm really saying is that many times when I do my presentations or we do our training programs for small business owners or different entities, we come to find out, we say, how many of you have fears? And most people in the audience, their hands will come up.
Yeah.
Do you know, as a baby, when you were first born, your only 2 fears were fear of falling down and fear of loud noises. Those are the only 2 fears you had. So all the other fears, because I ask people in the audience, I say, how many of you have a fear of rejection? 80% of the hands will go up. How many have a fear of failure? 90% of the hands will go up. How many have a fear of public speaking? A whole lot of hands will go up.
Right.
But my point is this. Fear is really false expectations appearing real. And once I got this, my life took on, it just took off. Because once I realized that, and there's 2 questions, listeners, that I want you to really make this part of your way of life. Because fear comes up every day. When you're standing in front of fear, ask yourself these 2 questions. Question number 1, what is the worst thing that can happen if I take action? Just by asking that one question, you'll now start to say, wow, hey, it's not as bad. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, I get rejected. Oh, they say no. Okay. But you see, my philosophy is when I'm standing in front of fear, and believe me, fear comes up every day, I have to manage my mind. And when I ask myself, what's the worst thing that can happen? My philosophy now is, as long as I'm not going to die, I'm going to go for it.
Right.
Okay? So here's the thing. High achievers, in my findings, they don't believe in failure. They believe in results. So if you don't get the results you want, you change your strategy. That's all. You just pick yourself up. Okay, hey, I didn't get that. I'm going to keep on moving on. Question number 2.
Okay, so wait, hold on a second. This is a key point, at least in my mind.
Sure.
I'm thinking for other people too. You said it's not about failing; it's about not achieving the results that you want. And so it's almost like an adjustment of how you articulate what happened. that helps you pick yourself up and try again.
Exactly. And in that, Don, the question to ask yourself is, what can I learn from this experience?
Okay.
That's profound.
All right.
Because now and you see, questions are powerful because every question you ask of yourself, you will get an answer. So if I ask myself, why am I so terrible? I will find evidence. I will find supporting information to say why I'm so terrible.
Right.
But if I ask a better question, okay, what can I learn from this? Then my mind is going to work to find, okay, what are some lessons? What are some insights that I can take away from this situation that did not go the way I wanted it to go?
And, I read last week, I can't remember where I read this, some book I'm reading right now, because I am a voracious reader, like you said.
Oh, right now.
It said, I am successful because I am intimately acquainted with mistakes. I am so I have a relationship with my mistakes. That's what it was.
Yes.
And so, when I read that, I thought, okay, if you think of it as a relationship, then it's something that everybody's always going to make mistakes. And so if you are always aware that you will be making mistakes, then the fear of them will not scare you as much, and you'll be able to become so intimately acquainted with the experience that you will always be able to overcome them.
That's
awesome. What I got from it.
I love that.
Okay.
No, you're right on point. And with that, do you understand, like when people go through sales training, okay, and they say, hey, like at Hewlett-Packard, I remember I went through a course and they were saying that it's going to take a client for them to say no, I believe it was like 38 times before they'll say yes.
Right.
So what happens is if you can build your mind, as you were talking about, Donna, relationship with your mistakes, if you can say, hey, when a person says no, the first time, okay, that's great. We got 37 more no's to go through before they'll say yes. It's a mindset, not taking things personal is what I'm talking about. And realizing that everything happens for a reason. So, when you can say, okay, that didn't go the way I wanted, okay, what can I learn from it? Now it's a learning opportunity for you to be better. Versus you sitting back and saying, well, fear of failure or fear of rejection. No, I'd rather go for it and let the results manifest themselves, okay? And even if I don't, things don't go the way I want, I get knocked down by life, hey, I'm going to pray that I land on my back because if I can look up, I can get up. And that's what I'm talking about. It's a whole, life is going to throw you curveballs. We all know that. As business owners, we know that. But the beautiful thing that makes it so wonderful is when we can say, it's all good because I'm going to succeed. I'm going to achieve. And there's going to be some curveballs thrown. There's going to be some rocks thrown. There's going to be some things that don't go the way I want. But it's not over until I say it's over.
I like that. If I can look up, I can get up.
Thank you.
And a friend of mine said something along these lines, too. Monique Hayward, she's on Twitter at Monique Hayward. She said, my mother always said, if you fall flat on your face, you've fallen 5 feet forward.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And for me, it'd be like 6 feet forward.
Okay, good. So all right, good. And okay, so that's good. Yeah. So these are really good things to remember because it reminds us it's really in our mindset. And if we can surround ourselves, tell me this, Marlon, in our search for people to partner with to achieve our goals, if we can surround ourselves with people who have this same kind of concept that, we're all going to screw up, it's not going to be perfect, and certainly in today's business world, we're living in a constant state of beta anyway, because everything has to be changed all the time. Technology's changing, consumer desires are changing, businesses are changing. We always have to change things to keep up. But if we can surround ourselves with people who understand that, then we'll always be able to look up and get up, as you say.
That's right.
They got somebody to pull you up.
There you go.
You can't get up yourself.
Sometimes it may be that,
Yes.
And I have also a saying, when somebody falls, hey, I'm going to pick them up, and there's a cliche I use. I say, he's not heavy, he's my brother.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So, but with that, I want to also say you got to be very selective of who's in your inner circle.
Yeah,
because sometimes, let's be honest, not everyone wants you to succeed.
That's right.
And I hate to say that, there is a crab in the barrel mentality, where some people really, because of their insecurities or their shortcomings or, their, kind of really want you not to succeed.
Right. And some people, even though they may not have the desire for ill will where you're concerned, they may be self-sabotaging, which will affect you as well. If if they don't have it for themselves, they will not be able to have it for you either.
That's right. And that's why, we designed another website, purposeandfun.com, okay, because purposeandfun.com is an online course. Because we all know that some of our loved ones, some of our colleagues, some of our business associates, some of our family members, friends, we all have some insecurities. We all have some things we're working on. So we designed purposeandfun.com as an online course so that you and your loved ones, you and your business colleagues can go through an online course together and share information with one another, so that you can grow in the process. Because many times, Donna, a lot of people just have not been exposed. I believe exposure is very key. And many times, for some individuals, they just have not been exposed to, time management. They have not been exposed to some of the books that you and I have read. So you can't fault them. They just don't know any better. Right. So that's why it's so important to utilize tools that are out here, like, example, purposeandfun.com, because it's a tool where it will help you and your inner circle grow together. And even those that may be somewhat negative or have some insecurities, it will help them grow so that they can be part of your inner circle one day if they're not ready right now.
Is the purposeandfun.com 40-day program different from the book, Marlon?
It's very similar, but designed. There's videos on, online.
Okay.
It's a little bit more, and then
more interactive.
More interactive.
Okay. Okay. So you should choose which one you want to work with most.
Well, to me, I think the Purpose and Fun, the online course, is ideal because it's wonderful because now you're going to get some video, some motivation, video messages to you. Okay, but also you'll have an online journal which is secured. Okay, and so it's not an issue about that. But really, the beautiful thing is you're also going to get some daily email.
Oh, okay.
Messages. So there's a lot more because, again, we're trying to create new habits.
Right.
That's our point. So after the 40 days, if you can have the mindset to say, okay, wow, I've got it,
right.
Then, boom, it's part of you.
Part of you,
Thank
yes.
you.
We can all use that. We're talking to Marlon Smith, founder and CEO of Success by Choice Incorporated and author of Living with Purpose. We're going to come back and pick his brain some more about how we can be our best in 2010. This is Indie Business Radio. Don't touch that mouse. I'll be right back.
Want to stay on top of what's new in the radio industry? Sign up for a free subscription to the Future of Talk Radio, available exclusively to listeners of globaltalkradio.com, and find out what's new in the world of online radio. Listeners can find out about new shows and special guests. People with something special to offer can find out how to become a guest and how to prepare for an interview. And prospective hosts will find a valuable resource for everything from planning their new program to selecting topics and guests, recouping expenses by selling advertising, and more. Sign up today for your free subscription to the Future of Talk Radio by visiting www.globaltalkradio.com and learn about the future of talk radio today.
Welcome back to Indie Business Radio. We're here in our final segment of my interview with Marlon Smith, author of Living with Purpose and motivational speaker and father and husband and accountability partner and mastermind partner and lots of other stuff going on. What a fantastic show with tips you're delivering here, Marlon.
Thank you.
One of the things that you've got that you want listeners to check out is a Being Your Best sort of one-pager. Tell us what this is and how we can get one from you for free to help us kick off 2010.
Well, thank you, Donna. Yeah, Being Your Best is just a one-page document back and front where basically I ask you 4 questions, and you would answer these 4 questions on your sheet. And then down below, it talks about, okay, what are some things you need to do in order to achieve your goals, your desired outcome. And then the powerful thing is you print your name, you sign it, you date it at the bottom, and then you find someone in your life, a loved one, a family member, a friend, who will be your witness.
Right.
You go over your answers, you go over your commitments with the completion date, and they will sign your sheet as a witness where it says witness by. And then now you have a personal contract. Then on the back side of that page, it's basically something we call 14-day leadership challenge. And there's 5 daily assignments, 5 daily activities or action items for you to do on a daily basis. And it just is a chart. Yep. And you basically keep track of whether or not you're doing these things to help you be your best. And at the end of 14 days, you tally them up and and then you can celebrate. But again, this is a way, again, we're all talking about creating winning habits for you to be your best.
This is really good. And, for people who are thinking, 40 days, that seems like such a long time, this is a nice way to introduce them to the concept because, right, it's something they can do quickly. It's only 2 pages.
Yeah.
Anybody can print this out and in a very short period of time experience some success at setting their goals. And that's one of the things that's key, right, is when you start any kind of new program, if you can have success early on, then you're more likely to continue.
Exactly. And what some people do is with their accountability partner, they say, hey, if I, do 80% of these action items, let's go out to dinner. We're going to celebrate. Okay? So having a celebration is very important. So as Donna said, we want to see you be your best, our team. So if you email us at purpose, PURPOSE, at Success by Choice, and Success by Choice is all one word, .com. If you email us and just in the header just say, put in handout.
Handout.
Yeah, free handout, and we'll email it to you. Okay.
Great. Thank you. We'll repeat that, too, at the end of the show. So, Marlon, earlier on you talked about balance, and you talked about mind, body, spirit, and all that stuff. So, we're all used to hearing, mind, we can read a lot, we can connect ourselves with people who are smarter than us and sort of sharpen the saw. We got body, we all need to go to the gym or do whatever we need to do to keep our body strong. Let's talk for a second about the spiritual side, Marlon. We all come from different faiths, different backgrounds and stuff, but, are there some keys that we can all implement, regardless of what our beliefs may be, to keep our spirit strong? Because we have to be able to endure this small business race. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. So we have to keep our spirit strong to keep keep motivated and be able to deal with all the obstacles. Give us some tips that you offer to people to help in that area.
Oh, thank you, Donna. I think one of the things that we really need to look at is being good to ourselves. Okay, when I think of the spirit, I think of I'm a Christian, and so I believe in Jesus Christ. But one of the things I've also understood is that spiritually, here's my belief. I believe we're spiritual beings having a physical experience. Okay? And I share that because I think that's a very important distinction, because once I can understand that I'm coming from a spiritual perspective and I have to help rejuvenate my spiritual man, then what I do is one of the things I want to encourage all of our listeners is being good to yourself. Being good to yourself. And what I'm saying there is, do something on a daily basis for you.
Now, how does that make a difference, being good to yourself?
Oh, I think what happens is life becomes so busy, and there have been different research and reports, developed talking about how the amount of stress that a lot of people are experiencing right now is really manifesting itself in disease. And, some people say disease is really dis-ease. So when I talk about doing something good for yourself, I think it allows you to, if you would, for, better lack of metaphor, deplug from the matrix. And what I'm saying is, when I say do something good for yourself, it may be, okay, I'm going to take a 10-minute walk through nature, okay, just to connect. I'm going to give myself 20 minutes to meditate, okay, just to quiet my mind, release some deep breathing. And again, if anybody wants, I can share, additional resources, if this is a new concept to you, feel free to email us at purpose at successbychoice.com. But here's the thing, I believe that if you, meditate, and one of the things I do, and I think all of our listeners can really value, is going ahead and journaling, okay? Now, whenever I bring this up, some people say, I'm not a journal, I don't like to journal. Hey, it's fine. But give yourself some time just to reflect on that day. What was good about that day? What did I do today that I'm proud of? What did I learn today? See, by doing that, Donna, what happens is you're starting to appreciate the days. Because as we all know, sometimes it feels like the days just turn into the weeks turn into months turn into years, and next thing you know, it's, wow, where did the time go?
Exactly.
So I think for our spiritual side, if we can, take some quiet time to deplug from the matrix, and give ourselves, if it's 10 minutes, if it's 30 minutes, if it's 60 minutes, but where you're being good to yourself. And for me, what I do is I journal, I meditate, I take walks in nature. Sometimes I just relax and do some deep breathing. And that's my way. And I pray and I read the Bible, but, those are some of the things that I do to really inspire and empower me. Okay?
Now, do you have a schedule for the things you just listed, or do you sort of just try to get them all in every week, every now and then? Literally, you said at the beginning of the show that you have a wall, something on the wall in your office or something, and you have written down. So, do you schedule? Do you is the step class at the gym every Wednesday at noon, and then you schedule it in that way, or how do you do? Because the idea of doing that sounds really good.
Yes.
So, give us some tips on how to do that. Do we have to look at our lives and say, well, do I meditate better in the morning or at night?
Yeah, I definitely think you need to do that. But also, here's the thing: you don't have to do it by yourself. Okay. I have to say this, and and you
don't have to add all those things at one time.
And you don't have to add all those things. See, and that's why, again, purposeandfun.com, I think is a great resource. And I'm not just saying this because I was one of the people that created it. I'm saying it because we basically wanted to do something that would bless people, that would make it simple. As I told you, look, a lot of our listeners, and myself included, we have books on the bookshelf that we haven't even read.
Right, but we had to have them at the time.
But we had to have them on time. But we still may not have read them. We read the cover or maybe the first page. But my thing
we look well read, though.
Good point. But my point is that we designed purposeandfun.com because we wanted to give people an opportunity on a very easy and simple way to start creating some new habits. And so a lot of the principles that we've shared during this particular radio interview, it's all intertwined within this program. So that now when people are thinking, okay, how do I plug it in? We've got a section on there about time management. You see, and what are your values? What's your mission statement?
Yeah.
So instead of you listening to this show and saying, now I'm overloaded, I don't know where to begin, we've got a resource for you, at purposeandfun.com that will help you maneuver and really help you customize a process that's going to work best for you. Okay? Because everyone's different. Hey, I might be a morning person, you're an evening person.
Right.
So I can't say, hey, you got to do this journal or, do this meditation in the morning when that doesn't work for you.
Yeah. So one thing we have to remember then as we start out is, especially if we're new to all of this, or if we feel like we're starting over again after a period of time, is that the first thing we try may not work the way we think it will, and that's okay.
Definitely. Don't beat yourself up. I believe in you recognize the fact that you took action. And we need to celebrate that.
Yeah.
And then, rather than say, oh, I didn't, get to this level of success or I didn't get this particular outcome. No, celebrate the fact that you took action. Because fear, false expectations appearing real, holds so many people back where they're just spectators in the stands. And that's why, Donna, I applaud you and I applaud your listeners. I mean, business owners, entrepreneurs. It says something about you. Is it easy?
It does.
No. If it was easy, everybody could do it.
Yeah.
So my point is that, let's celebrate the fact that, there's going to be some times when things get bumpy. But also realize this. There are opportunities in disguise. I believe challenges, trials, and tribulations are really blessings in disguise because I'm going to learn something from it.
Right. Now you also, sort of in line with the balance thing, I mean, Marlon, you are married, you have a wife, obviously, you have two daughters, and you have one on the way.
Yeah.
Well, this one's going to be a son, actually, right? So we got a baby on the way just in a couple of months.
Right.
And you are doing, you're speaking around the country, you do a lot of speaking at different events, and you've written this book and 3 or 4 other ones that we didn't get a chance to go into, you can visit purposeandfun.com to find out more about Marlon. But so this balance thing must really be a part of the key to what you're doing to be successful, right? Because you're doing all this stuff, and your family life seems to be quite strong.
Exactly. And here's the thing, Donna. One of the things that we're inviting even your listeners is to join us in our mission, a mission to strengthen families. With all that's going on in the economy, people losing their homes, the job market, so on and so forth. We need to share. We need to create accountability partners. We need to share information and share wisdom with one another and share encouragement. So we've created today, matter of fact, January 4th, we've launched our new website for strengthening families and marriages, and it's at www.marlon, M-A-R-L-O-N, and A-N-D, Syreeta, S-Y-R-E-E-T-A.com, where it says blog. And, I want to also publicly thank you, Donna, for helping us, as far as, you're just so phenomenal in the social media. And when you said, hey, Marlon and Syreeta, you guys should think about a blog, and, and you share some of your resources. I want to thank you for that, because without you, I don't know if it would have happened today. And so with that, at marlonandsyreeta.com, it's a blog site where we're going to be sharing different principles of how we can strengthen our family, how as business owners, and this is something that's really dear. As you mentioned, I've got 2 daughters, and right now is the time to teach my children about entrepreneurship. Plant that seed so that they don't have to, when they graduate, feel like they have to get a job. There's nothing wrong with getting a job. I'm nothing against that. But so that they have options.
They have options,
okay? So, on this website, Marlon and Syreeta, MarlonandSyreeta.com, we're going to be actually showcasing other couples, other entrepreneurs, so that we can learn from one another. Remember, success leaves footprints.
Right. And that's so important when you talk about having a small business and also being in a family. My husband and I, of course, our business is a family business. It didn't start out that way in a formal sense, but certainly I believe that if anybody in the family has a business, then everybody in the family has a business, because it impacts them in some way. So you believe that not only, is your website set up to help people who are involved in businesses with each other, but mainly to help people stay focused on their families, right? And keep them strong.
Definitely so.
Okay, because I guess the stronger the family, the stronger the business anyway.
I would say so. I mean,
and vice versa sometimes too.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, or Donna, if we don't remember that balance, and that's why I think purpose and fun is so important, because if you're only focused on the business, and I've seen examples of this, the entrepreneur, the small business owner, they're focused on their business, and yet their children are struggling.
Yeah.
So we've got to make sure that we've got balance. Yeah. And again, hey, there's only 24 hours in a day. I know many of you are listening saying, wow, where did the time go? Yeah. I've been there. Yeah. But again, I'm learning things from one another, and we're developing a system. So that's why we would like for you to participate with us. Share what's working in your family. Share what's working in your business, so we can all learn from each other.
Right. And that's so important, part of that collaborative process. And Marlon, I'm so glad you launched a blog, because it is so much more effective and efficient to be involved in that collaborative process when you make it easy for people to share their comments and to ask questions and things of that nature. So it's open today, marlonandsyreeta.com. People can go there, leave their comments. You've got a couple of videos there for people to see, so that's really interesting stuff. So, Marlon, okay, so we have some ideas here. We've got purpose@successbychoice.com, where we can email you to get the Being Your Best 2-page condensed version of the things that we can do to kick off 2010. So, let's talk in our final few minutes, because we only have a few left. Marlon, the economy is something that is, it's in a constant state of flux right now, but every day we get news that's not so great. Right. And you're starting a new business.
Right.
Okay, so this is exciting. A lot of people are starting businesses. Give us your insights and your final tips on staying focused, keeping your eyes on the prize and not being distracted by what everybody else is saying the economy is forcing you to do or not do.
I think number one is journaling. Now, I know,
Really?
Yes, I do. I
didn't expect that, Marlon.
I like to keep you surprised.
Okay.
I like to keep you surprised, and as well as your listeners. The reason I say that is because there's a lot of information being thrown our way. Mm-hmm. Every time I turn on CNN or CNBC, I mean, it's just like, oh.
Enough already.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so one of the things that I think is very important is that you have to understand this. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he.
Or a woman.
Thank you. As a man or woman thinketh in his or her heart, so is that person.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you have to understand, my mind is that's where the battle's won. And so I encourage all business owners to keep a journal and ask yourself 4 questions on a daily basis. Number 1, what was good about today? Number 2, what did I learn today? Number 3, what did I do today to move closer to fulfilling my dreams and goals? And number 4, what do I feel great about? By keeping that journal on a daily basis, what you're doing is you're programming your mind, regardless of what's going on around you, for you to stand firm.
Okay, and this is good, too, because so many of us sit down in front of a journal and a blank page and go, ugh, what am I going to write? And you're saying there's 4 questions we can answer in 1 or 2 sentences.
Right.
Right, we're talking 5 minutes here.
That's all we're talking.
And then, okay, and so what that does at the end of it is you get to see accomplishments, you get to see things that are in your mind that may be pushing you forward, holding you back, or whatever. And it's worth just that 5 or 10 minutes if that's all it takes to do that.
Definitely. And what you will find is that on a daily basis, again, we're talking about habits.
Right.
You got to realize what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm talking about conditioning your mind that regardless of the naysayers, regardless of what people say the economy's doing, no, you determine how life is. Yeah, there are a lot of circumstances, but there's always been circumstances, Donna.
Right.
And that's why readers are leaders and leaders are readers, because the more you read and you realize all these people that you admire, they had to go overcome challenges.
That's right. And when you create this journal that you've just described, you can read your own stuff, and that's a part of what can become your library too, right? So it's not just other people's writings that can keep you strong and inspire you. It's your own.
That's right.
I think that's a really powerful point for people to remember, too. So, and that's what's so great about having a blog. And, one thing, Marlon, can people do this? They can keep a journal online, so you don't have to deal with paper.
Right.
You can make a blog secure, right? So it's, the public can't see it.
That's right.
You get your backups. You can print it out.
That's
so
right.
And that kind of makes it, for people who are techno-dweebs like me, might be a good alternative for people who just don't like the paper, or they don't want to leave a journal lying around for someone to pick up and read and stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's a really interesting point. So the questions are, again, what happened good today? What did I learn today? What did I do, or what happened to move me closer to my goals? And what do I feel great about?
Exactly.
Gosh, anybody can do that.
And number 5 is a bonus.
Bonus.
Because I know you got the high achievers. Number 5 is, what can I learn? Did you say, learn, right?
I said learn. What did I learn?
Mm-hmm. Oh, here's number 5. What did not go the way I wanted?
Okay.
And how can I use this for my benefit?
Okay, so that's more specific than what did I learn? Yeah. Okay, what didn't go the way I wanted to, and how can I use it for my benefit, maybe to change that?
Thank you.
Okay, that's bonus number 5. Yes, and my listeners are high achievers. I will confirm that you said that. So on that note, let's talk, just in closing, we've got Purpose at successbychoice.com to get your Being Your Best 2-page condensed goal-setting program. We've got livingwithpurpose.com to order your book, and we've got
Go ahead.
purposeandfun.com, where you can get the 40-day automated program with the videos and the daily email updates and stuff like that, right?
Right. The only correction was that, at successbychoice.com, that's where they could order the book. Or
did I say Living with Purpose?
Yeah.
Whoops.
They could order the Living with Purpose book or some of our other DVDs and so on and so forth. But purposeandfun.com is really, I think, for your listeners, would be ideal.
Okay, and check out Marlon and Sarita. It's a beautiful website. If you're involved in a relationship, you'll be inspired by the beautiful pictures of Marlon and Sarita on their honeymoon and all the wonderful scripting that the website designer did. It really is a beautiful place to go and be encouraged in your relationship and your pursuit of balance in your life. Marlon, author of Living with Purpose and CEO and founder of Success by Choice Incorporated, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Oh, thank you, Donna. And also, I know you had asked me for some of the books. For those that email us at purpose@successbychoice.com. I will definitely, when we send them the handout, we'll also send them a list of books.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, wonderful. And remember, all you need to put in your email is handout in the subject line, and Marlon will know what to send you, that you were a listener on today's show. Thank you so much for joining us. I've got some great shows lined up for 2010. I'm still juggling the schedule a little bit, so I'm not able to announce them right now, but I want you to check in at indiebusinessradio.com. Also check in at my blog, indiebusinessblog.com, for more tips and small business inspiration. I'll see you next week, Monday, January 14th. Until then, enjoy your life, build your business, and have your way.
You're listening to GlobalTalkRadio.com.